My name's Alex Comninos. I'm from South Africa. I'm studying at Gießen University in Germany. I'm doing a doctorate in the Department of Geography, and I'm working with the Association for Progressive Communications. The Association for Progressive Communications focuses on the Internet for Sustainable Development, as well as the Internet and human rights, gender issues as well, and social justice issues. We're a network of networks, so there are many NGOs around the world that are APC members, and we've been involved in internet governance forums since the WSIS. I have been trying to put forward, first of all, intermediary liability issues. I think there's many countries in which there is a lack of safe harbor legislation or protection from liability, as we have in the US under CDA 230 and the DMCA, as we also have under the EU e-commerce directive. There's many countries, especially in the developing world, that don't have protection for intermediaries, which kind of constrains the ability of intermediaries or other companies to offer specifically content platforms, user-generated content platforms, as well as obviously limits freedom of expression. If intermediaries are made to police users for what they say, this can have negative effects, and it's quite hard to draw the line. Also, for a repressive country looking to censor the internet, making intermediaries liable is a much more effective strategy, and it looks better than erecting firewalls and content blocking platforms.
So we're talking about effectively countries using the private sector to take control of the content that appears within the country's internet framework.
Yes, as is quite effectively used in China and many other countries.
And do you think there's been any big successes come out of this year's IGF? From both the talks that you've been in and talks that you've been involved in as an audience member?
Well, I think arising from Kenya and previous IGFs, there has been a strong human rights message, if not from the host country, from the participants. So human rights issues have definitely been brought to the fore by civil society, as well as by intergovernmental organizations like the EU. I think it's also been very good for Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan has problems with freedom of association and freedom of expression. People can be fined here up to $10,000 for participating in a protest. People are often detained and arrested and put in jail for what they say on the internet. So there's been a debate about whether it's a good idea to have it here. But I think Azerbaijan is in the process of an opening. Unfortunately, it's been mainly an economic opening, and Azerbaijan, being a member of the Council of Europe, likes to tell the world that it's a democracy. So this has been a good chance for both local Azerbaijani civil society as well as global actors from civil society and governments to challenge Azerbaijan on these issues. So we have seen a few events like the Azerbaijani government not the government, but the security here and the organizing committee trying to restrict certain publications about Azerbaijan, trying to block certain activists from attending the IGF. But the beauty of the internet is that this has all come out and people are aware of this now.
And I know from a panel that you were on yesterday that being able to remain anonymous on the internet is something that you feel quite strongly about. What do you think why do you think that the anonymity on the internet is such an important thing to protect?
Well, I think before the internet, if someone questioned whether you were able to send possibly an unsigned postcard to your MP, or indeed whether you were able to have discussions in private without other people knowing about it, or whether you were to issue anonymous statements, they would have said, well, that's your right to freedom of expression and your right to privacy. So I think that extends to the internet, and I think the internet, as well as being a great force for freedom of expression, is also to a certain extent a surveillance machine, and our associations are kind of laid bare. If I say that I'm a member of an organization on Facebook, or if I support a particular cause, anyone can see that. So I think that anonymity does protect freedom of expression and association, and I think certainly in contexts of discussing many issues like LGBTI, if someone is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender or intersex, and they're living in a society in which there's repression around this, and in which people are subject to perhaps violence for their sexual orientations, it gives them an opportunity both to associate with others of that sexual orientation, or others that support LGBTI freedom, and it also gives them a chance to seek help about these issues. I think the same goes for children, women, or any vulnerable groups that are victims of abuse. I think anonymity offers a platform to discuss, to seek counseling, to seek help. There's been great innovations in terms of social work done over anonymous platforms online, and I think it's also very healthy for the diversity of opinions. As people have mentioned in the sessions, when you express an opinion and someone doesn't bookmark you and say, well, he's Alex, he's with civil society, he has this particular opinion. If someone doesn't put you in a box, it does make your opinion a lot stronger. Of course, without putting your name to it, people are a lot less afraid to express an opinion, which can have negative consequences in terms of hate speech, but it can also have very positive consequences in terms of freedom of expression. So I think one cannot really draw the line between where anonymity is positive and anonymity is negative, and I think in terms of human rights principles, then it should be protected.
And within the multi-stakeholder industry, obviously there's lots of different opinion within the multi-stakeholder sort of forum. There's lots of different opinions being voiced, lots of different views on how the internet should be run. Looking forward to the future, do you think there'll ever be it possible for them to agree where the line is of what's acceptable on the web and what isn't acceptable? Should there be a line? Should we be open? What if you understand the question?
Yes. I think an international agreement on to draw the line of what is acceptable content on the internet and what is not acceptable content on the internet is really constrained by the nature of international politics, which is that states seek their own interests, governments also seek to stay in power, and then there's the issue of jurisdiction. While the internet is global, there's national jurisdictions, and there's different laws and different interpretations of what is acceptable in every country. So I don't think that will be possible because of the nature of international politics to come to agreements on that. If agreements are reached on that, I do believe that might severely restrict the freedom online. There is, of course, a large consensus in terms of child pornography. There's no countries that support child pornography. There's international initiatives against that. There's international initiatives against cybercrime and spamming. So we are seeing consensus. And then hate speech is the other issue. I think many countries have laws against hate speech. What is illegal online is illegal offline. So I don't see the need for specific national laws dealing with hate speech online, and I also don't see the need for international treaties regarding hate speech online.